In this episode of the Strategy Podcast, I want to talk about the eighth mistake I see companies make that make strategy execution really hard. And this is a mistake that actually slows down the execution of strategy. And it's really relates to having a decision cycle that is too slow or has no tempo to it, which is perhaps even worse than being slow. And by tempo, I mean regularity. You want it to be happening on a regular basis. What's common is for, you come up with a strategic initiative. Maybe there's a steering committee or some group that's executives that's responsible for that initiative. There's a work team, or maybe there's sub-work teams underneath that that are trying to get work done. Right? You end up because of people's calendars, you end up scheduling these steering committee meetings every 4 weeks or every 6 weeks. And what happens is you have a huge batch of issues that come, decisions that need to be made, over the course of those 4 weeks, and they get, packed into this steering committee meeting. And every issue that possibly can get addressed tries to get squeezed into that meeting, because if you don't get it into that meeting, you're going to have to wait another 4 to 6 weeks to get any progress on it. So you end up with these overloaded, overpressured meetings that are taking, and then you have the meeting, and then the executives need more information, and now it's another 4 weeks before you're getting to a decision. So you end up just slowing everything down with this slow pace. And if the tempo, if it's not a regular pace, then people don't know, how quickly they need to get things in, and that causes a lot of confusion and problems within the execution process. A much better way to approach this is to actually have regular meetings and a much shorter duration in terms of elapsed time between the meetings and in terms of the time you actually take in the meeting. So, if you're meeting, say for 2.5 hours or 3 hours every 4 weeks, meet for an hour every week or 45 minutes every week. You'll get more done. The project will go faster. Decisions will get addressed much more quickly. You'll find that there's fewer urgent things that need immediate attention because they're kind of all fitting into this weekly cycle. And in a week, you're giving the team enough time to actually get some work done. And the other thing about a weekly schedule is it prevents the team from over-investing in elaborate presentations that they may end up doing if you have 4 weeks, because you just can't keep up that pace and come up with elaborate material every week. You end up with things that are more like a discussion and a conversation about progress that's being made, decisions that need to be taken, issues that need to be addressed. And that's really what you want, is that conversation to be happening among the people who can actually move the project forward. And by having it on a frequent, shorter basis, you'll find that you'll end up moving the process along much more quickly and much more effectively. I hope this strategy podcast has been helpful to you and useful to you in your work. I'm Alex Nesbitt, and I'll see you in the next podcast.